Have you ever been told that you have to manifest your own happiness? Well, I guess the Transformers fandom collectively manifested a lot of happiness. Because today we're taking a look at something that just manifested. What's up, guys, and thank you for joining me today for a review of a figure that we had no idea existed a couple of weeks ago. This is Deluxe Origin Bumblebee. So who remembers a few years ago when the Siege line was announced by Hasbro and they said that we'd be getting Cybertronian modes of most of the G1 characters, and all of us thought that obviously we'd be getting Bumblebee in that line, right? Well, we didn't. We didn't get any Bumblebee in that line. We didn't get a Bumblebee figure until Earthrise, and it was the actual classic VW Beetle. So this guy had to wait until this random Bumblebee subline, I guess. But it's okay, better late than never, because we finally got it, the Bumblebee that we all thought we'd get from the get-go. So Hasbro, thank you for correcting this mistake in the timeline. This guy's going to be a Target exclusive in the United States as a part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee subline. So this is the box. It's the basic deluxe box. Now, the weird thing about this box is the fact that the window up here, the box is upside down. There's no plastic window for the figure, so it just kind of sits in there with nothing protecting it. So hopefully they all don't get smashed. Now, again, this figure is based on Bumblebee's appearance in the first episode of G1 in his kind of hovercraft pancake alt mode from Cybertron. Really weird, but again, it's so cool. And the fact that they got this toy with completely original tooling to be able to get this, it's beautiful. The sculpting is so cool to me because, again, he has the hovercraft alt mode, but all of the detail, he has the car windows up here. He kind of has the Volkswagen hood details and stuff that emulates the bumper. It isn't parts of the Volkswagen, but it looks like it. And I love that because the original G1 robot design had car parts on it, but he didn't turn into a car on Cybertron. So I don't know, it just works. Out of the box, he has a head sculpt that makes him look like he actually wants to be here, unlike Netflix Bumblebee. I didn't have to add any paint to the eyes or the face like I had to do with Netflix B because he just looks so dead coming out of the box. But this guy's just so happy to be your friend. He loves you and he's just your buddy. Mwah. Look at those puckered lips. It's no Siege Megatron, but he does have some kissable lips. Now, speaking of Netflix B, here are the two of them together. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is the color difference. This guy really looks orange. My camera is kind of blowing him out. He's really not as stark orange as he looks in the frame right here. Just compared to the soft light yellow and the powdery blue on this one just really emulates the cartoon model, where this one really looks like an update to that original cartoon model. They both go to do the same exact thing, however, the execution is just a little bit different. Now, you're probably sitting there saying, damn, they got some big backpacks. I wish I knew what they looked like without them. Well, guess what? Now, here they both are, sans backpacks. Now, we've talked about this Bumblebee here before, how he actually has a parts forming piece that clips on the back here. You have to remove it to be able to put this on the specific point in the vehicle mode. But this guy right here does have a backpack, but you can just unclip it. All he has is these little friction clips right here, and there are these two little teeth back here, right there. So you just unclip it and clip it back on like that. So I've seen some people kind of messing with this and configuring this different ways. If you really don't like it, you can kind of just pop it off right there. And look at that. We have Bumblebee with no backpack, pretty much as he is. Now, he does have these things here on the bottom of his legs. Again, I don't know if these are pinned on the inside here, but I know these outer parts, because they popped off a couple of times, can pop off. So you can get this Bumblebee kibbleless, basically. He won't transform because he does have parts of the saucer that are integral to his robot mode, these panels back here, and his feet specifically, and this. So a good chunk of it is actually still on the figure. But you can pop off his kibble if you'd like to give him a much more sleeker look. Now, you're sitting there wondering, but what all does he come with accessory-wise? And I'm happy to inform you all of that. So first up are these sticks, which are the Energon conductors from the first episode. This is what him and Wheeljack... Wait, where is Wheeljack? Get him in here for this. All right, now that is much better. So again, these are the Energon conductors from the first episode. Now this is, again, an example of something that was from one frame or one scene of G1 television, but I'm fine with owning it. It's from the premiere. It's so niche, it doesn't really affect the price, and with how small he is, they really had to fill out plastic anywho, so guess what? These are cool. But the one uncool thing about these is these midsections are 5mm posts, but you can't do anything with them because they have these fat little nubby end sections, and because of that, they cannot actually fit in his hand, so that actually kind of sucks. I'm tempted to cut one of these in half to see if I can maybe slide it in on both ends of his hand and meet in the middle so one of them can hold it. But, you know, I only got 5 of these. I'm kind of afraid to cut it in half, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll update you on that. Now, this is kind of weird and another example of them just having to fill out use of plastic on this small boy. He comes with a jetpack, so he never uses this or anything, but you can clip it onto his back. He has a 5mm port back here, and he has a jetpack. It's unpainted. This is actually a different mold than the one used on the Centurion accessory pack for Sideswipe and G1 Prime. So I don't really know why they made this, but it's cool. I'm fine with the jetpack accessory. Again, he never used it, but I'm sure somebody else on my shelf will. Last but not least is this little gun. Now, I thought this gun was actually random. It's not at all. They actually molded what his gun looked like in the original G1 episode. This is basically it. It's just black instead of gray. And this is just the level of that niche, minute, silly detail that I love a lot. And you can just plug this right into either of his hands, 5mm port. I'm just kidding. It plugs right back in. That's a friction peg. That's actually the second time I recorded putting the gun in the hand, because the first time I didn't want to go in the hand. So I'm just going to leave it. That's what we're going with. So anyway, he's just a really nice, efficient little bumblebee. He does everything right. His color is great, and his stature is perfect for scale. Now, something else interesting is he actually has a little port right here for Siege blast effects. He has 5mm ports on his shoulders and his back and his feetsies. So this guy is totally War for Cybertron compatible. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was originally intended for the Siege line, but they just had to go with the Netflix Earth mode. But hey, either way, thanks for making it happen. For articulation, Bumblebee's neck offers a ball joint that allows for some up and just a little bit of down movement, not a lot. It can rotate 360. My figure is just a little bit stiff on that ball. Shoulders can rotate 360 degrees on a hinge. They're going to go down and up that much. Biceps can rotate 360 degrees, and his elbows can get just a little bit past 90 degrees. Because of transformation, his wrist can kind of hinge a little bit, but this part back here is hollow, so watch out that you don't just knock these back in there. Waist can rotate 360 degrees with no friction. Legs are going to go in and out that much at the hip. 360 rotation at the thigh. Now, because of the transformation, he actually comes out of this with a double jointed knee. You can't do too much of it with this panel back here, but if you move that out of the way or pop it off, you can get some crazy knee bends with this. Again, because of transformation, his ankles have some really nice rockers forward and back on this hinge. And they also have a really nice pivot on the inside. This guy is rocking just every single type of joint. He has no shortage of articulation. He absolutely blows Netflix Bumblebee out of the water in that regard. Bumblebee's transformation is very neat, very simple, and very satisfying. So let's go ahead and take a look at that Pancake Mode. And here it is, the reason everybody's gonna buy this Bumblebee, his little flat flying saucer Pancake Mode. I am in love with this. It is Flat Fuck Friday, guys. Now again, this is fake, cartoony, and wonderful. I love this. And honestly, just how accurate it is, it's kind of perfect. This is really scary. And I really am floored with how they were able to take the actual G1 robot design of Bumblebee and turn it into this flat, curved, actual, like, hovercraft thing. I'm impressed. Now, if you're wondering where all the robot mode went, he is actually fairly integrated in there. He is peeking out from the bottom, but who really cares? Even down here, these pieces that were the feet in robot mode kind of cover all of this and act as, you know, kind of undergarments for the rest of the hovercraft. It's really well pulled off. There's not a lot hanging out here. It actually has these little thrusters on the back. I will say that there's some color difference where the black is kind of bleeding onto the yellow over here because of this black paint, but I would much rather have those parts of the legs black than not, so I'm totally fine with this bleed over here on top of the vehicle. And he is still equipped with these 5mm ports on the top, so if you would like to go ahead and get his accessories, you can tab in his gun here on either side or the top, or what I like to do with the top is this. Grab the jetpack, and look at that. And now he can just be like originally you have, you know, hover car. And now you have extra fast hover car.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
It's stupid, but I really love it. It's something that does not exist in any official canon, but it exists in my heart, and that is what actually matters. Even worse so than robot mode, there's absolutely nothing you can do with these energon conductors. You can't plug them in anywhere. They can't work as like flight stand, whatever. Just make Wheeljack hold them. They look a lot better like that. Something else I'd like to do before we're done here is get Bumblebee in here with Netflix B. I love how these guys look together, the Volkswagen and the Flying Saucer. Now, I love the idea of Siege giving us Cybertronian modes of Transformers, but with ones like Prowl and Ironhide and Ratchet, they're just a little bit different, especially Optimus Prime. But comparing this Bumblebee to this Bumblebee is night and day, and this is what I think of when I think of Cybertronian modes versus Earth modes. So for the last one, getting a Cybertronian mode to come in at first place is totally appropriate. He's so happy to be a part of your collection. He is wide, he is round, he is fat, he is flat, he is Origin Bumblebee, and that is what I have to say about him. If you guys have a question about B, maybe something I didn't cover in the video specifically, please feel free to leave a comment in the section down below. I'd be happy to get back to you as soon as possible. Please like this video and subscribe for more Transformers in the future, and until then, my name is Fizz, and that was Origin Bumblebee.